Good afternoon, Patricia Juba here, the founder of A Life Worth Living Corp. And I'm here with yet another special guest. Her name is Andrea Milioti. I hope I pronounced that
You're
right.
fine. You're
She
fine.
is a mental health wellness coach. She's going to explain everything that she does because I know she is ready, willing, and ready to share. So, welcome, Andrea, to this podcast. I am so pleased that you're here with us. Tell
Thank
us
you. Thank
about
you.
yourself.
Well, I don't know. I am actually, I'm a mom. I have two adult kids. I have a 28-year-old daughter and I have a 24-year-old son. And I was married for 19 years. I'm divorced and, a single mom from when they
Yes,
were little, but they are both of them. I adore both of them. They're my life.
awesome.
And yeah, I live in Pack, New York, which is
Okay,
Putnam County. It's just south. It's probably a couple of hours, 2 hours south of Albany.
okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you done any writing?
I haven't. That is something I would love to do. That's something that's
Okay,
on my list. I do, as far as writing, I'm a big journal person, and
that's
I
awesome.
journal. And that's actually one of the things I, through my coaching business, helping moms to heal from childhood trauma or generational
Hmm.
trauma. Most moms, like when we're struggling, we don't even realize we have trauma. Sometimes we do, it depends upon what it
You
is.
know, I
But a lot
agree.
of times we don't even realize, but something's going on. Like we are stressed out, we're in that fight or flight, we're just, things are not right, which was me. And I didn't realize until the biggest tool, and that's why I swear it's the biggest tool for trauma, is journaling. And at first,
I
I mean,
believe that too.
a lot of people say that, like, you know what? Like, I never know how to do it. Neither did I. I didn't know what
Yeah.
to do. I would stand there with a paper and I'm like, okay, what do I write? Like, what do I write? Like, but it just, that's why journal prompts are really, really big thing. They're good to help just jumpstart you, and something as simple as, like, what would you say to yourself, your younger self? Maybe even put a time, like maybe your 8-year-old self. And it
Yes.
causes you to think back. And it's a really, really big tool. Like I'm still not perfect at it, but I've gotten so much better. And I have all different types of journaling. I mean, there's
So,
intentional journaling, there's gratitude journaling, there's so many.
yeah, I strongly believe in journaling, and that's why I've asked anybody that's come on this podcast, when, when did you start writing or journaling? Because journaling is a process for me, and speaking for me, it helps you get out what you don't speak about, as well as that it's a healing process. Any
Yes.
type of journaling. So that's
Yeah.
what I've used it for. When did you start journaling?
I really started, I was off and on, probably started doing it when my kids, well, maybe I was like in my early 40s. I'm now going to be 60 next year. But
Me
really,
too.
okay, so we're the same. Okay, cool. We
Yes.
can celebrate together. And it's like, you look great. And
Thank you.
I
Well, do
really
you?
started doing it probably really, really intentional. I'd say it past maybe 5, 6 years that I
Okay.
really, and I just, like, I'm everything about journaling. I actually just did a webinar um earlier in the week,
Hmm.
because that's part of the thing that I teach, because journaling is all about just introducing people
Okay.
to journaling and the types of it and how it's just it's so, And people, it's even to the point, it's so good for your mental health and your mental wellness.
Yes, yes.
Literally, especially when you come from a trauma, trauma deregulates our nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
It literally regulates
Yes,
your nervous system because it puts you in that calm space. It's
yes.
just there's so much good about it.
It
People don't
is.
realize they don't realize it, how it really is so helpful. Like I'm now at the point where that's how I start. I get up early in the morning at 5 o'clock, and that's part of my whole morning. I do my scripture reading, and I do
Yes.
that, my time with God, and then my journaling, and everything is right there at the start of my day.
That's awesome. And here's another thing that I journal about is my dreams.
Yep. That's another thing. Yep.
That's a huge one for me.
Yep.
So I keep a note. I have kept a notebook at my nightstand for years because as God reveals things in dreams, I'll jot it down
Yeah,
dated
because you'll
time.
forget. Because
E-
you'll forget.
Exactly. You have to do it as
You
soon
have
as
to
you
do
get,
it right
yes,
away. Put it
right
down because
away.
yeah,
Yes.
that's really important because yeah, there's
Especially
so
with
many
dreams and
times.
let it piece together. It's like, oh, now I understand
Well,
what
that's
he's
why
telling me.
I also talk to people about a brain dump. Like sometimes brain dump is I like it at night before you go to bed when you're calm in your midst of your calm to go to sleep. Even if you just take a simple piece of paper, it doesn't have to be a book, and just what's in your head. Just write it down. What are you
Yes.
thinking about? And then just look at
Mm-hmm.
it and get rid of it. You don't even have to keep it because you've just taken all that stuff and put it on paper. You will sleep better because
Mm-hmm.
when you leave all that
Yeah.
stuff that you're thinking about, that's why we don't sleep because it's swirling
Well, we don't
around in
sleep
there.
well.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
it's swirling around, and that's what keeps us awake.
Okay. So, Andre, can you tell us who do you serve?
Who I
Who do you serve?
Oh, who do I serve? I serve
Yeah.
well. I target moms, usually particularly moms over 40, because that's about when everything with me started, where I started realizing that I'm dealing with something. So I usually
Mm-hmm.
focus on moms over 40, but it depends. I mean, basically, if anybody's dealing with trauma, it's not
Mm-hmm.
saying that I can't help them,
Right.
but I target moms, usually moms over 40. And because usually a lot of times, like I said, we don't know that we're even dealing with something, but sometimes moms are struggling and sometimes it doesn't come out because I know with me, I didn't even realize like what was going on until after I became a mom. Then I
Mm-hmm.
realized I was like, what's going on here? Like I was just so anxious all the time and just frustrated about things and just I never felt like I was good enough. And
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't feel like the mom I thought I'd be, even though I adore my kids. And it
Mm-hmm.
was coming from somewhere.
Right. So let me just ask you this. In your journaling process, had you noticed any patterns? You know, do you understand my question?
I think so, but say it
Like
again.
as you're journaling, right? And then you go back to it at some point. You don't just journal and just put it down.
No,
You journal and then you revisit it. When you revisit it,
absolutely.
do you notice any patterns? Okay.
Yes,
That's what I
yes.
want you to talk about.
Okay, yes, I guess. Absolutely, you definitely, I see a big pattern. My thing is relationships. And I feel like I've kind of passed it on to my daughter, which is another thing because generational trauma does get
Yes.
passed down
Yes.
until like
Yes.
I wish I realized it sooner, but now she's 28. But like I realized it in my relationships. I had always overly attached. Always like and which my daughter does that too. Like I always want, and if I didn't feel like I wasn't getting what I wanted, or like I was getting like how do I say it? Like I'm looking for like what happened was with me, a lot of it came up with rejection. I have a really hard time with
Mm-hmm.
being rejected. And that came, I didn't know, like, why am I feeling this all the time? And that's when it came in my journaling. That
Okay.
it came from back when I was as far back as I can remember, about 6 years old or so. My mother, to this day, we don't really have a relationship. I mean, she is very not the kind of relationship you would think a mother would give, but she would like
Mm-hmm.
put other people before me. She would put me down. She would never make me feel like I was enough. Always somebody else was better than me, or their needs came before mine. If it wasn't for my father, the times I spent with him, he's gone now. He died 10 years ago. Daddy's little girl right here. If it
Yes.
wasn't for my father, I wouldn't have any recollection of my childhood.
Mm.
Except for those moments when I mean, he always took me out all the time and we go visiting and we played cards and he made time. I don't have those moments with my mother
Okay.
because she never made. And it started in my journey, from what I can remember. It's back when I was about 6. My mother lost a little baby. I would have had a little baby brother. I'm the only child.
Mm-hmm.
And from that moment, I sensed things were different around
Okay.
me. So that's
Mm-hmm.
as far back as I can remember. I don't
Okay.
recall having any problem when I was younger than 6, but my
Mm-hmm.
memories start about there.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Is
Thank
there
you.
anything else that you do that impacts others? Is there anything
Well,
else? Do you do women's groups? Do you do anything?
well,
Anything?
I am
I'm
just
just throwing.
yeah, no, I mean I'm just like starting this and I'm actually a very big mental health advocate. I'm actually part of the organization NAMI, which is my
Yes.
organization here at Putnam. I'm a big part of that because I'm
Oh, great.
very big advocate in that. My son, who is 24 now, was diagnosed with ADHD when he was 6. My daughter
Mm-hmm.
has anxiety and depression and PTSD because of traumas that she went through.
Yes.
And she was actually in an abusive relationship that could have killed her.
Mm-hmm.
But by the grace of God, she is here and I am her
Thank God.
back. It's her idea, but I'm here to do it for her. We have started a nonprofit
Awesome.
organization. It's called Winter Bella's Love and Hope, which was our dog that we had to put to sleep over almost a year ago now because she was
Okay.
15. We got her, she was only 4 months when we rescued her, but she was a big support for got my daughter through the abuse she
Mm-hmm.
was going through with her ex.
Mm-hmm.
So she named it that, and she wants to help domestic violence survivors around the legal aspect because, especially where we live, we want to start it. She wants it to go global, but we're starting it where we are in New York. It happened in Dutchess County, and the court system in New York is so not for the survivor. And she wants to help survivors because most of them don't have the funding or the money to do that, to get the proper
Mm-hmm.
legal help and legal advice and get that because she had a struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
And she, as we just mentioned, and in EAN, we are in the process of the 501. We have a GoFundMe out there, which we just put out, and we started getting funds already. And she also started a baking business, which she does events. And the baking
Okay.
business is linked to that because any money she makes on that is going into the nonprofit. So I'm
That
her
is
big,
wonderful.
yeah, so I kind of stand by her a lot. And yeah,
Yeah.
and I just because it's just so important, I'm just so proud of her because she wants to turn her pain into helping other women survivors.
Right.
So that's what, I'm just there to like with her on that 100%. And I'm also because of my big um advocacy with mental health, I am also part of a company I just recently joined probably a year ago, starting the products first because they've helped me massively. It's called
Okay.
Amari Global, and they
Mm-hmm.
have supplements that literally make you just feel it aligns because our mood, how we feel, our anxiousness, stress resilience, everybody thinks it's all in here. It's not, it's in our gut.
Oh,
And
yes.
it aligns these when I started, it's something called Happy Juice. And I just love it because when I start my day with it, it just makes me more focused. It gives me more clarity. It makes
Mm-hmm.
even the things that would upset me before that I would literally lose my mind, it just keeps me together. It makes me better resilient. And
Mm-hmm.
like and just it just that aligned with all my other tools, journaling, meditation, mindfulness, all that. It
Mm-hmm.
just all of that together is just part of the toolbox. And
Awesome.
I just want to spread more of that because so many people in this world need it. And I see people every day that are just so stressed out for one thing or another. And
Right.
I know the world that we live in is enough to stress us out without any of our own things.
Additional things.
Right. So I see
Yes.
so many people, and I just want people to know that, there's a better way. You don't need medication. So many people are so apt, like, oh, like you go to doctors and you go to, that's all they want to do is just, you're not doing anything there. It's a band-aid approach. There are things we need medication, but when it comes to our mental health, we don't. It's just a band-aid approach. You're helping it for a little bit. It's even my
Mm-hmm.
son, like who was on medication for ADHD, now takes this. He don't need it. It helps my daughter with her anxiety. It's like mine never felt I could handle everything that comes out. When I don't take it, I lose my mind. Yeah, and the
Mm.
longer you're on it, your body it's
Or
because it's
adjust.
addressing the root cause. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a band-aid approach. It's taking care of the root cause and helping from the inside out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for sharing. And
thank
the
you.
last thing that I'm going to ask you is how can the audience contact you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I also my email, by even phone is fine. Definitely I have Andrea M. Milioti at gmail.com. You can
Okay.
always get me by email. And I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok.
And LinkedIn?
Yep.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I am actually. I'm just starting. I haven't been, I haven't I've got to learn a little bit more about LinkedIn. I'm on it, but I'm not as active as
Immersed
I
yet.
should be. I have to
Mm-hmm.
learn a little bit more about it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm very active on Facebook, very active on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. That's great. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for sharing who you are and what
Thank
you
you.
do. Um, I'm grateful that you were here with us,
Thank
and
you.
we are going to say goodbye to the audience for now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.